And Kasia, Chrissy, it's just going to get colder. I think I'm inventing K names now. Back to you guys.
Oh, yeah, now you put the names together. Thanks, Mike, for that. All right. Kasia and Chrissy here with you on this Monday, December the 29th. It doesn't feel like a Monday whatsoever. You know, at this time around Christmas and the holidays, you never know what day of the week it is.
Oh, I know. And it's hard to believe that New Year's Eve around the corner.
Yeah.
I know that you're going to have more details, but pretty much you're going to need your parka, and it's got to match the dress.
Of course. All right. Speaking of
rock
matchy, we didn't phone each other about our outfits at all. Picked up 17 centimeters over the weekend. We did have watches and warnings there. But for us, did you notice through the overnight, Saturday into Sunday, we did pick up some rain, and that was the same system, so we were just mild enough for that. But the mild temperatures, yeah, they're pretty much done with for some time. We'll talk about today's daytime high and what you can expect into 2015 coming up. But first, let's talk about that traffic situation, which probably isn't too bad. Chrissy?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people returning to work today, but not enough to really cause any major snarls on the roads. I'll have details on how things are shaping up on the transit routes as well as the DVP and the Gardner. But first, with the long range, over to you, Kasia.
Yeah, not a whole lot happening for now, which is great news. Mike had mentioned the lake effect flurries, so we'll be seeing that off of Georgian Bay throughout the day. You can see that being picked up by the models there into your Tuesday as well, also off of Lake Huron. And what that means for us in southern Ontario is that some of us could be picking up 1 to 3 centimeters of snow over the next 24 to 48 hours. Not a whole lot, really. High pressure continues to dominate, and that just continues to bring in cooler temperatures, which I'll show you in just a few moments. 2 low pressure systems will be impacting us over the next week or so, just in the form of lake effect flurries, and have a look at those plummeting temperatures.
Out of the studio to Kasia and Chrissy. You guys are usually outside. Now it's my turn, and I'll be out here again tomorrow.
All right, and we look forward to that, as it's going to be even colder tomorrow, actually, so poor Mike. No, it's not so bad, really. Chrissy, as you know what's happening in the prairie provinces, it feels like the minus 40s there, so puts a little perspective on things.
It is true, but I'm still a wimp. I know we've talked about this before. Yeah. I was quite happy that last time I was outside was last week when it was nice and mild, so I'll take those.
Right, and you still had the Canada Goose coat on, which
I did.
Is funny.
I know, I had to like explain that I know I look freezing, but it's not.
And an indication that, yes, the sun is coming out. We will see sunshine. You will need your sunglasses today, which is great. All right, we're going to talk about your daytime highs coming up and what to expect in the next few days. But in the meantime, let's talk about the road situation. Chrissy, I believe there's something going on.
I know, it is surprising because it's been a very quiet drive, but we actually have 2 spots to watch out for on the updates, as there is a bit of a minor delay on GO Transit on the Barrie line. But first, with the forecast details, Kasia.
Well, we don't see too much happening in Ontario. As Mike had mentioned earlier, though, we do have cooler air moving over the relatively warmer waters, and as a result of that, we do see some lake effect flurries. So could be picking up to 1 centimeter of snow throughout much of southern Ontario. The closer you are to the Huron shores, though, the heavier the amount. So we could be getting up to about 5 centimeters of snow through the Huron shores as well as Georgian Bay. So if you're heading up to the Barrie region, could be seeing that, dealing with that on the 400. Temperatures for today, southern Ontario, a daytime high of -1, closer to seasonal. We'll be feeling like -4. And into your long range, we have 2 systems that are going to be impacting us in the form of lake effect as well. Humbling to know what's happening around the world, and it makes you feel a little bit better about what's happening here in terms of weather. Not a whole lot. We'll get to the fact that we do have some lake effect potential, but first, Chrissy Van.
Yes, we're going to have traffic details coming up for you in a moment, but the one thing I'm sure you've noticed forecast, and the thing that's kind of reassuring is that, to me, I think of winter, November to February, and we're kind of halfway through, and it hasn't been so bad.
No, it really hasn't. And outside, I have a look at some flurries that are flying right now. Here's Mike Arsenault. You are in Newmarket.
Well, definitely when you see snow, you know the rule to go slow. But luckily, the Vantage drivers have on the downtown drive as well as the 401. But first, with the forecast details, Kasia.
All right. Thanks so much, Chrissy. Relatively quiet out there, and the same thing goes for our weather story. Not too much going on. We're seeing the shifting of the wind. So beginning the day with a southerly flow, and eventually it becomes a northwesterly, then a northerly flow, and that's what's bringing us the lake effect flurries. It's the colder air coming in from the Arctic with high pressure circulation. It circulates in a clockwise motion, funneling in those temperatures, moving over the warmer waters, and that's what's causing the lake effect snow. Picking up maybe up to 1 centimeter through the downtown core of Toronto. And the closer you are to the Great Lakes, the heavier the amount of the snow. Now, lake effect into your Thursday and your Saturday as well, with plummeting temperatures. Aren't you glad we haven't used that term yet this year, polar vortex? But we do have this Arctic air mass basically spilling over the entire country, and we too are going to get into the cooler temperatures. But let's take a moment to appreciate what we had yesterday. 6.4 downtown Toronto, closer to Mount Forest. Obviously, it was a little on the chillier side. You felt the winds a little bit. It was on the gloomy side, the cloudy side yesterday, and today we're going to be picking up some lake effect flurries. So that's what we're showing you here with this graphic. The closer you are to Georgian Bay as well as Lake Huron, we're talking about 5 to even 10 centimeters of snow. Downtown, though, it's closer to about 1 centimeter. If we do pick up a flurry, it's just going to be 1 centimeter. See the purples here? We are talking about temperatures near minus 15, even colder than minus 15. And that, too, is going to be spilling a little bit further to the south. Not exactly affecting us, but we're still looking at overnight lows. I mean, in the minus 10s, in the minus teens. Here's Chrissy now with your traffic.
Thanks so much for that, Kasia. And well, the drive today has been smooth sailing for commuters. We had a couple of problems doing in regards to transit on the TTC and GO. And Kasia will have your local forecast.
So, Chrissy, Kasia, I expect a warm cup of hot chocolate waiting for me when I come back to the studio.
Good thinking. All right. Well, we'll consider it. I don't know.
No, it's so tough when you're out there and you really start to think, will I ever be warm again?
This is true, and it actually hurts, right? Your digits literally hurt. So Mike needs to come inside and melt, and in the meantime, hey, from the inside of our studio, by the way, this is a live look at the city of Toronto, and behind us, a little on the overcast side, there is a chance of seeing some sunshine into today.
I like those odds. Even a chance is good, because even when it gets cold, if the sun is out there, it just kind of balances things out.
That's so true. All right. On those ice rinks, especially into the evening hours, it got a little bit cooler, obviously. Now, we're going to get into your daytime highs, what to expect over the next few days as we kick off 2015 as well. But first, let's talk about your traffic situation out there. Chrissy, any changes?
Things still looking really good. Just one note, if you are taking GO Transit on the Barrie line, there are some greater delays, around 15 minutes or so, and that's because they've had problems with this. Are moving well, but I'll let you know if any problem spots develop. Here with your forecast details, Kasia.
All right, so the big word of the day is lake effect, because we do have, well, cooler winds moving over relatively warmer waters. By the way, today not too windy. We've got sustained winds 10 to 20 kilometers per hour. Southerly flow to begin with, but then the winds are going to be shifting over the Great Lakes. More of a northerly flow and a northwesterly flow. In through the overnight, we're starting to see those gusts getting closer to about 50K. And of course, with those cooler air, with the cooler air mass coming in from the Arctic, moving over the relatively warmer water, we are picking up some lake effects. So even in the downtown core, could be picking up less than a centimeter of snow, really closer to Georgian Bay. And Lake Huron will be picking up maybe even 5 centimeters of snow throughout the day as well. More about this weather story coming up. High of over 10 degrees. That was back on Saturday at Pearson. Meanwhile, in Vineland, closer to St. Catharines, over 12 degrees. That wasn't record-breaking, by the way. Yesterday, we got up to 6.4 in the downtown core, at 4.9 at Pearson. So not a bad day yesterday. That was then. This is now. Temperatures, they are dropping because of this Arctic high that's basically infiltrating the entire country. I'll show you that in just 1 second. But have a look at the lake effect flurries that we are expecting through today into your Tuesday night. Heavier amounts closer to the Huron shores as well as Georgian Bay. We could be picking up 5 to even 10 centimeters of snow through there. So if you're traveling up the 400, you could be impacted by that. City of Toronto could even be picking up a trace of snow throughout the day today into tomorrow with the winds. Now the winds, that's what we're showing you here with this graphic, but also those cooler temperatures that are making their way further to southern Ontario. We're talking about overnight lows in the minus teens yet again. And our daytime highs, I mean, they're right around where they should be. Now, this Arctic high, it's a really powerful one, but the good news for us is that really strong Arctic highs, they actually break down a little bit as they move over warmer bodies of water. So we have that going on with the Great Lakes. But again, with the Great Lakes and the air that's actually interacting with the warmer waters, surface temperatures, that's actually going to be causing the lake effect. So all that to say, it's getting cooler, and we do have that lake effect situation happening for the next few days. In fact, because we have a low pressure to our north, it's going to be impacting us on Thursday and on Saturday as well. Now let's talk about those temperature values. Here they are. If you look at the numbers here marked in the middle here, that's actually how it's feeling. That's your wind chill values, so dress for those temperatures. See what we just did there? Yeah, lake effect flurries, they are in the forecast for today as well as tomorrow, your Thursday and your Saturday. My name is Kasia Bodurka. Thanks for joining us here this afternoon. We're looking at a daytime high of -1. We'll be feeling closer to -4 though with the winds, with a mix of sun and clouds. Yes, I said sun. We will be seeing some sunshine for today. Through the evening hours, though, that's when we're expecting to pick up that lake effect because of the winds shifting. For now, we have a southerly flow, and actually our temperatures, they will be dropping from here on. So -3 into the evening hours and that lake effect there. How much snow are we talking about? Well, less than 2 centimeters for the majority of the population. The closer you are, though, to the Huron shores as well as Georgian Bay, we're looking at 5 to even 10 centimeters of snow through your typical snowbelt region, living up to its name. We have a trough of instability to the north, and that continues to usher in those really cold Arctic temperatures. But I mean, other parts of the country are being gripped by -40 daytime highs, or actually overnight lows, I should say, with wind chill values feeling like the -40. So it is just unbelievably cold out there, dangerously cold. For us, though, we're looking at overnight lows in the mid-teens, feeling like around -10 for tomorrow and into the next day as well. So as you're stepping out for your New Year's Eve day and into the evening hours, it is going to be cold. To the north, we have a low pressure system that's going to be affecting us on your Thursday. Also on your Saturday, it's going to be skirting us to the north. So for us, it's just light flurries. Really, we're not looking at a huge weather story in the way of the amounts of snow. In terms of the temperatures, though, like I mentioned, I mean, here we are in Kitchener. We are further away from the lakes. It always is a little bit chillier here. So for your Tuesday, it'll be feeling like -11. That's during the height of the day. It'll be feeling like -17 for you on the day on your New Year's Eve. We even saw a peak of sunshine here and there. My name is Kasia Bodurka. We'll be joined by Mike Arsenault in just a moment. We've got temperatures this afternoon going up to a daytime high of about -1 and a mix of sun and cloud in your forecast. But what's happening this morning? Mike Arsenault, you've been out there in Newmarket. It began quiet, but I'm seeing a little active weather occurring. I did not know that. Very good. Well, thanks to Mike for that. Who knew? Who knew? Meanwhile, we've got temperatures this evening falling to about -3. It will be feeling cooler with the winds as well. And those winds, as you saw there, the flurries flying, it's all lake effect. And you know what? We got to consider ourselves lucky because our friends out in the prairies, they're dealing with overnight lows in the -30s, and it feels like the -40. So dangerously cold there. Now, with high pressure here, it doesn't get as strong for us in southern Ontario because of the warmer waters, the body of waters, it actually breaks down the strong high pressures. We're still going to be dealing with temperatures, well, on the cool side, we're looking at wind chill values closer to the mid-teens through the overnight hours, and then daytime highs tomorrow and the next day on your New Year's Eve day, it'll be feeling like the mid-teens as well, with base temperatures around -5, -6 degrees. Meanwhile, for today into tomorrow, we are picking up this lake effect, as we had mentioned. Barrie and areas closer to the Georgian Bay shores as well as Lake Huron, we're picking up a general 5 to even 10 centimeters of snow. We're seeing the whites there, so closer to Kincardine. And then the city of Toronto and the Great Lakes Basin, really 1 centimeter of snow throughout the day today. So we talked about those temperature values and the fact that they are going down because of this Arctic high, which these Arctic highs, they are relatively strong through the summer, through the winter rather. So we are starting to fall back into this winter pattern. We've been lucky, we've been spoiled, and here we go. We've got daytime highs of about -5 for you on your Wednesday. That's your New Year's Eve day, by the way, and it will be feeling like -13 through the day, and then moderating out a little bit for your Thursday and Friday with some lake effect showers, lake effect snow into those days as well, also for you in Barrie. Your Monday, December 29th looks like this. My name is Kasia Bodurka. We're seeing a daytime high of about -1. We actually kicked off the day closer to 0, so temperatures are falling as the winds are shifting. And the winds, they too will be causing some lake effect flurries for a lot of us in southern Ontario. Mix of sun and cloud, though, shouldn't be too bad of a day. We're ushering in, well, back to winter-like conditions for a lot of us. And it was a great opportunity to get outside and do some skating, enjoy the outdoors. outdoors while you can, right? Same thing goes for you. Into this evening, we're seeing temperatures fall to about -3. We'll be feeling a little bit cooler with the northerly winds, and we're starting to see the lake effect really ramp up into the evening hours. So our roads could be a little bit covered on your commute home if you are in fact heading out to work. We're looking at maybe a trace of snow on the ground, 1 centimeter for you closer to the downtown core. Places like Newmarket, Aurora could be picking up 1 to 3 centimeters. However, if you're closer to Georgian Bay and the Huron shores, heavier amounts, 5 to even 10 centimeters likely through there as a result of the lake effect. And notice how the winds are shifting. So again, kicking off the day with a southerly flow, and then you'll start to see the lake effect bands move. Basically what's happening is we've got a cold Arctic air mass. It's moving into the region. Yeah, we too are getting into that Arctic air that our friends in the prairies are dealing with, but it's not going to be as intense because it's interacting with the lakes. But that interaction, it does cause that lake effect. So just a heads up, a few days of lake effect flurries. Same thing goes for you into your Thursday, into your Saturday as well, with low pressure systems affecting us to the north, namely, and then to the south also a system to us. That's going to be on our Saturday. But for us, it's mostly going to be, again, just a lake effect event. And that means not a whole lot of snow, really. At this point, it doesn't look like it's going to be too much. Temperature values, well, they are plummeting for you. In Kitchener, it'll feel like -17 on your New Year's Day. Thanks to Chris for making us all feel cold. Getting us back into the spirit of winter, because that's certainly what's happening for this week. Welcome to your last work week of 2014 and ushering in back those cold temperatures. It will not be like this for some time. Yesterday, the city of Toronto reached a daytime high of 6.4. The day before, 10 degrees in places like Vineland, over 12 degrees. Now, it does not feel that way. It does not look that way in southern Ontario. It's next time, remember, my mother always says, layer up. Wear your pants. Long johns. Long johns are the way to go, layering up. All right. Meanwhile, Mike had mentioned the lake effect flurries and how much snow we are expected to receive. So picking up heavier amounts closer to the Georgian Bay shores, as well as Huron, 5 to 10 centimeters likely. And for you, closer to the downtown core, maybe 1 centimeter of snow through the day today. So we will be seeing those flurries make its way into the region as well. So is the cold. I mean, this Arctic high, this has been taking over much of the country and through the prairies. It feels like the -40s. There are extreme cold warnings. It's not going to be as intense for us because actually the warmer lakes break down the strong high pressure systems. So that's actually good news for us. Not going to be as intense, but certainly those temperatures are going to be falling. So we are going to be seeing wind chill values closer to -10 for tomorrow, the following day as well, with lake effect also in our forecast on your Thursday into your Saturday as well. All right, see what we just did there. We do have wind chill values moving into the region. In fact, well, we have been spoiled, haven't we? So a little bit of a shock to the system when we see temperatures like this. Not bad, really, -3 into the evening hours, but it will be feeling closer to -9. And then through the overnight hours, we're talking about wind chill values closer to -15. However, let's consider ourselves lucky because where this mass, this Arctic air mass is coming from, it feels like the -40s. And that's in the prairie provinces where there are watches and warnings, in fact, for the cold. Meanwhile, this trough of instability, it continues to usher in those cooler temperatures. In the purples here, you can see on the legend, that's -15 or even colder than that. And then factor in those wind chills. Yeah, even colder to northern reaches of Ontario. But for us in the city of Toronto, this high pressure actually, it gets broken down by the Great Lakes. Great Lakes moderate things out a little bit for us. So again, I mentioned an overnight low closer to -10, but feeling like -15. But daytime highs, not so bad today. We're nice and seasonal. -1, that's going to be our daytime high. And then as the days go on, closer to -5, -6, those are our daytime highs into tomorrow and the next day. You're looking at our snowfall graphic. This is all lake effect, lake enhancement. For the city of Toronto, less than a centimeter closer to the Great Lakes, while picking up to 5 centimeters of snow.